All right, gentlemen. Quick review of the tactical plan or our match plan for our game coming up on Saturday against Dakota Young Stars. Um, we've already seen the game day roster that was sent out. As noted in the email, we're carrying 20 guys. As always, we were only able to actually play 18, but given the conditions tomorrow and probably the additional stress that the weather is going to place on some of our key roles, like our wide players and even our central players, I think it was good to carry a little bit more and then to read the game and use the players as we need them. So this is what we're looking like. So I have 20 at warm-ups and to prep for the game. Itinerary is not much different. 1:30 we'll meet in the locker room. We'll look to see where we're at with, it says warm up at 2. We'll read just the feel, 1 of the weather. 2, we really don't need an extended warm up when it's already hot. So it might be, 2:05, 2:10 before we go out there and reduce the entire time we're out there to 30 minutes. And then back into our frigid locker rooms for the final talk and our walkout and starting 11 with a 3 p.m. kickoff. So match objectives, mentality from the start. I don't know if we've really put together 90 minutes of how we want to play. We've put together good chunks of time, but we just haven't been consistent. So better than our last game, and let's be honest, outside of some really good play by our forwards and some other good moments, we just weren't consistent enough. So that's the task in front of us. Looking at Saturday, our depth is really going to win the day. I'll be honest. I think we have quality all the way through the 20 players that we've put on this roster, and given the conditions and the way we want to play, by the end of the day, we just keep adding top players on the field as they start to drop. So make sure that, whenever you enter the field or however long you're on the field, that you seize upon that moment and really make your stake for, being a city player for as whatever time you've been given on Saturday. So as I said, we really have to focus on printing our style for 90 minutes, and it's controlling the ball. And then because of that, really controlling the space and controlling the game. We were a little loose in possession. I know we didn't get to our pass goal, didn't get to our attacking passes, our passes in the attacking half. Again, that's priority 1. We need to implant ourselves in that half, and we stay and make them really work and defend. Third piece is the clean sheet. We've only had 1. And that's too bad because we are a lot better than what our defending is showing. It's just the one killer mistake we're having, be it individual or collective. So clean sheet is the focus on the day. And then obviously the same stuff that we always deal with UPSL, transitions, being in good positions with good reactions to dominate and control the game. So let's not give up any silly things from a transitional moment. And then that continued theme of you're wearing a city shirt, we're at home, a doubleheader at home, big night. Even though, regardless of the weather, 3 points is the only acceptable result. That's the only thing that we'll take from this game. So, starters, not too different than the last time we were on the field. With the return of Connor on the left, we'll push Luke to the right. Will, Ethan, and Wes will return as the back 3. Scotty as the 6. Abai and Steven as the 10s. And the dynamic duo of Cole and Derek as our 2 strikers. So we've got depth at every position. So especially, up front, and our central players and our wing backs are the areas that are really going to probably look to need to be refreshed throughout the game. Attacking shape, you've seen it. I'll send this as well so you can review it. We just need to be more organized and more mindful of our positioning. We worked on that in training this week, making sure we keep our position. We can keep positional balance. Our 10s or attacking mids aren't too overshifted. We've got players behind lines of pressure. We just keep a good shape that allows us not only dominate the ball, but also handle transitions better. Going back to this here, so we're seeing this again because the message as we'll go is consistency is key. Consistency is key because that means it allows us each to make consistent decisions and solve problems consistently. And it's not we're making it up every time we see a new problem. So this shape, every time the ball is at our goalkeeper's feet or every time we reset and need to look to rebuild, we have to find a consistent shape. So I say this because as we look at, the example here with the picture is ball's back to our goalkeeper. This is against Brooklyn Knights. One time Wes is like, nope, I'm going to stay high. That one choice kind of has a domino effect to the rest of the team. So if Wes drops into where Will is, that forces that striker to make a decision. Does he go with Wes And if he does, now we have so much more space centrally to play out through the midfield. And so Mitch or Ben can play that line skipping pass, and it's easier to solve the problem. But on this side, and this one time, Wes says, nope, I'm not going to drop in. We'll be able to solve it. That has an effect on Mitch's decision. And then as a team, it's now up to Mitch to solve something that's not consistent with how we want as a team. One player falls out of line, it kind of kills the flow. So the next piece here is another position, consistent positioning. So in our build-out phase, we have a single 6. Scotty's always got to put himself in that space to be available to our center backs to play through them. We want to use our 6. Look at the space is massive. And oftentimes what our center backs have to do is if we don't have a consistent positioning from our center mids, the center backs have to play wide, which allows us easier to be pressed, or they've got to play longer, which then makes the game a little bit more transitional. The ball from our center backs into our holding mid or our 10s wasn't consistent enough, and part of it was because our positioning was poor. We were all over the place at times, and that went for everyone that went in. We just didn't have someone that could really sit into those pockets of space and dominate. So big priority this weekend is the consistency. Consistent positioning leads to consistent problem solving that we all know is about to happen, which allows us to be all on the same page. Looking at Dakota Young Stars, some of the film I've seen, they play from a 3-4-3. The big thing for us with our shape is, we're going to be able to hit them 3v2 in the central zone with our 3 and their two center mids, and they don't really pack that central space. They really leave it with just 2. So we should be able to dominate that central space with our 3 and then plus our 2 central strikers that are in there. So really causing them a lot of problems through the middle. And then just highlighted some space. In transition, we've got wing back versus wing back. Can we hit that space? Be it our wing back seeing it early and attacking it, or a striker making that run from inside out to hit that space behind their wing back. The back 3 didn't look overly athletic, and I think the conditions of the day will really challenge them. Just good reminders looking at if they had a 3-4-3 in shape, how our 4-4-2 or that 5-3-2 shifts into a 4-4-2. Same thing, we've got coverage. We give those passes on the far side, knowing that as the ball travels, we're able to get across and deal with it. If it takes multiple passes to get across, we're able to step and squeeze and deny those switches with our positioning. Same thing here, ball central. We know that we're going to give up a little bit to the width because of their shape. As long as we're denying that central space and really make them play around us, we'll be in good shape. And the last piece, you've seen this. You can read this as I provide you in the document. Same stuff with corners and attacking free kicks, and the same thing with our position. And this, obviously, guys, our goal on the break against Rochester as well. So something to be mindful of. Remember, as you go in, you're responsible for knowing where you're at in this. And then just our alternative shape. I would like to think that we could transition into this 3-4-3 easier if we need to. Again, all that really allows us to is we can defend in a 5-4-1. It allows us to fit some probably like characteristics of certain players a little bit better than the 3-5-2 when we make our subs. So just consider it. Make sure that you're aware of it. It's something that we could very much go into if we need to towards the end of the game. But other than that, guys, like I said, I'll send this PDF. The plan has shifted. I will be at the game tomorrow from the start and through the entire game. So we can obviously go over this and get on the same page tomorrow. But I'll see you guys tomorrow at 1:30.